So recently Vivaldi was added as the default browser for Manjaro, and it seems that as a whole people aren't happy about it. But to be honest, I don't think that it's such a bad idea. So I know that I'm a little bit late to report on this, but I do think that I have some unique points to add. So let's get into that right now on the Linux Lounge. So as I said during the opening, recently Manjaro has added Vivaldi as the default browser in their operating system, and people really aren't happy about it. The main reason for that is that Vivaldi isn't open source or permissively licensed, or at least it's not entirely open source or permissively licensed. But in today's video, I actually want to play devil's advocate a little bit and defend Manjaro's decision. Now first, just for a little bit of background. This change was announced recently in a Manjaro blog post, and for the time being Vivaldi is only part of the Cinnamon Community Edition of Manjaro, but it will be rolling out to other versions soon. So now I just want to go over some accusations that people are making against Manjaro. The first one really is that Manjaro are only doing this for the money, but to be honest I don't believe that that's the case. I haven't seen any indication anywhere that this is the case, and from the sounds of things, Manjaro and Vivaldi are just two development teams that work closely together. Even if this was a business deal, I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with Manjaro making a bit more money, since generally they do really good work, and they are still an absolutely fantastic community project that are doing work that no other projects are, really. I do think though that the main problem that people have with this is obviously that Vivaldi isn't open source. And first, I'd just like to say to that, Vivaldi actually is partially open source. The UI bits aren't open source, but everything else is. And for that reason, I do actually trust Vivaldi. But another reason that I'm okay with this is that Manjaro has never really been a free software distro. They've been bundling the non-free NVIDIA drivers and Steam for quite some time, and no one really has a problem with it. I can't really see how bundling a non-free web browser is any different. Another reason that people have for being upset over this is that they believe that Vivaldi doesn't really add anything to Manjaro, and I have to disagree with that too. Manjaro is generally quite a customizable distro, and Vivaldi is quite a customizable web browser. Because of that, to me it makes sense to bundle them together. But also sadly, Chromium-based browsers are just a lot more compatible and faster than Firefox. So I think that most new users to Linux who might be moving over using Manjaro probably won't want to use Firefox. So I think that it's better that we give them Vivaldi than Chrome. So at least that way they're not using a Google product directly. Ultimately though, none of that really matters. If you don't like Manjaro being bundled with Vivaldi, then just don't use Manjaro. The Arch-based distribution market is pretty big these days, so you can really use whatever you want. There are even distributions that only ship with free software if that's your thing, and at the end of the day, that's what Linux is about: choice. Choice for the developers and choice for the users. At the end of the day, it's Manjaro's choice to bundle whatever they want, but it's also your choice to use Manjaro. But with all that said, that's it for today's video. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Let me know in the comment section below. But with that said, that's all for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.